Ooh. Me? How you going? Good. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah. Nice. Oh, on the live stream. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's it. That's right, yeah. No, it's Sunday, sorry. Probably hot. Yeah. It'll be funny. We got shade, so good. Whoa. Ah. Yeah, I could hear it. I just had it playing and I could hear myself as well. I could hear both this. Oh. Oh wait, maybe not. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I was having a one-way conversation. So I'm not going to be able to see your screen like live unless you share. Can you share it in Discord? I think under the voice. Yeah, like right down the bottom on the left, there should be a share your screen.
All right, I'll do that with you in a second. All right, well, good evening, everyone. This is the live stream of sharing and making live streams. Let me see. I'm just going to share this screen to Dan. There we go. I've got Daniel McCullock on the line, and I've offered to him to put together a live stream for his club that is hopefully as easy to use as possible. And what I set out at the beginning was to ask him for a list of requirements and also for his club, like, logo, sponsors, graphics, and like that. So how I've set this up tonight, at least, is that what you're seeing here in the main window is the laptop that I use to stream is going to a capture card, and then I'm doing this on my desktop machine. So I threw this together the other night just to be able to capture the machine. And we got Noel and Dan watching. That's good. There's a few people on the line. That's good to see. So in here is my computer, my laptop, and here is a list of starting off. This is the list of requirements that Dan gave me for his stream. Are there any late additions, Dan, to the list, or that's pretty happy?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, cool. So the idea is to have everything driven via FPV Trackside. So when I last did my last stream video of this, it was 3 years ago, and there's been a lot of features now that Dan's added at my requests that allow you to even automatically drive OBS through just hitting buttons and running races, and they can switch scenes so you can kind of seamlessly be controlled by Trackside. So Dan wanted to make sure that the whole thing was ideally driven through that and didn't want to have to everyone, yeah, I am now. Thank you. Dan's just called out in this notification. So the idea is to drive the whole thing via Trackside. We don't want to need a stream deck. We don't want to need to have to click things in OBS and stuff. You kind of just want to set it up and just open both programs and just run your races and go. No limit on the number of views, which means that we can go with as many different scenes as possible, I assume, as long as there's a bit more things to show. You can throw a few different sort of arrangements of things together, so maybe you can milk a few more, but we'll see how we go with that. I reckon we'll have about 4 or 5 from just the different menus and stuff in there, and I'll go into detail about how we'll do that. The ability to switch to a loop video on the brakes. This one I think you might have to just click one scene, Dan. I don't think there's a good way in Trackside to trigger that automatically, but we can definitely do that because you've given me a video. And I think what we'd make is, you give me a video, it's like a vertical one. I'll show it in a sec.
Yeah. It
looks like something for like a TikTok or an Instagram, right? So I think we could even like have a layout of that, and then just like have it with your camera just so people can watch the background and just watch this video looping every 45 seconds. And then you can always just change the video later for a long one. Maximum of 2 cameras. So we're going to assume that you got one USB webcam, and obviously the one in the laptop facing the person driving trackside, and one pointing at the path or the pits. You want clubs and sponsor logos incorporated, so yep, you give me some graphics for those. And we want the YouTube chat in there. I assume we're going to use YouTube chat. A review for results. So when we get to that, I'll ask you about how we're going to, where are you showing your results from? Because I think I haven't asked you that yet, but I assume it's just directly in Trackside, so we can do that a number of ways. And a color scheme to match the purple in the club logo. You have this much hardware, which is pretty. I think the only thing I'm paying attention to when building this is that you've got that, so you'll have a capture card doing one of those 2 things. Laptop's a gaming one, that's good. We probably won't use both mics, but probably just the commentator one, I think. Oh, the cam and the microphone in the laptop probably. And there's that for you have that silently. So your TV, here's the things here. Your TV is your microphone, your speakers out, right? That's going via HDMI. And you've got, is it your second monitor, or is it just a duplicate of your laptop screen?
I've been running it as like a second monitor, and then just doing
putting OBS to it.
Just doing the OBS display.
Okay. So we can. Because that just depends if you have up like whether you're using you duplicate the display or you say you extend, right? So here is your graphics. PDR. I always think paintless dent removal when I see that acronym, but I know it's Panorama Drone Racing. And that's why is that, Dan? Tell the audience. Why is it Panorama?
Panorama, because we are based in Bathurst, and it's the home of the famous Mount Panorama. So there's only logical.
It's right near the big Bathurst, famous area of Bathurst 1000, right?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so here's what you give me. This is your club logo graphic. Or were you putting that in there? Probably trying giving that a fixed spot. And your logo in 3 different ways. And also you gave me the font for that too. That was handy too, because we might install the font. Fonts look great to spice up the view. So we can put other text in that same font there. And I think this is your sponsor logo for Mantis FPV, one for electrical laser, and another one for the school that you fly in, the field.
Yeah.
You've also given me this video, which is I assume your brake video. Let's subtract it in. Let's pause my music. I won't spoil it all. But yeah, this little video kicks on. Let's see if that is edited again, but it's very skinny, right? And that doesn't normally fit like a 1920 frame that you would have here, right? 1920. And then this one here, I think you might. This is the idea with this. You have it as a background video or something, right? For a loop.
Yeah, I had it as like the background in OBS.
Yeah. Okay, we can incorporate that. All right, cool. So, we'll probably have a few colors in like doing some square colored boxes and stuff in OBS. So I think the first thing I want to do is work out what the color is of the purple. And I think we might use secondary either the blue or the green, right? So I'll just open Notepad just to get those colors. Now, easy way to do this is just to open it in MS Paint, and in Paint you can do like a colorizer thing here. There is a sampler. Is it? That's a sampler there. So we want the hex value. Just grab that, stick that in Notepad for later. Purple. And we want to grab the blue. And the last one, maybe grab the green as well, hey? So if you're doing this at home, you can follow along. I've got the chat. Oh, yeah. Hi, Julius. Green. All right. 3 colors. Now, I think first things first, install Trackside if you haven't already. You just download that from the website. I don't think I need to show that part, but this version I'm using is the latest. I don't know if this has been officially released by Dan. Oh, by the way, Dan, we're in your Discord for the audio, so you can always jump in and yell at me. And what we're going to do is, yeah, this is the latest version. It should be fun to do this on any version. At least the later ones, I think it's good to have like the profile feature, which I think is pretty key to setting this up. So the first thing first is I'm going to add a new profile, because then hopefully I can copy this to just include this as maybe like the files I give you, Dan, and maybe you can import it. When you create this, it does create a folder in Trackside, in data, and so all the settings I put will be, you know, manifest as files in here. So make a new blank event, PDR test event. I was playing around before just to get an idea of some things, just so I was somewhat prepared. And we'll select the profile and we'll go okay. If I've done that wrong, Dan, I did only learn how to switch. It took, you know what, Dan, it was you that actually told me how to switch between the profiles, like on that front menu, because like I wasn't. So here's the thing with Trackside. This is the gotcha I had with getting used to profiles, is that you want to do it from this front menu here at the event selection one, and that's where you can create the profiles. If you want to rename them, you just rename the folder, I found too. But that's what you do there, and the profiles keep a lot of settings in there. So I'm going to have a whoop one versus an outdoor one, which will, you know, I can have different timing settings. I can have different capture cards on there with, you know, just makes it easier than me to remember to manually switch between a whole bunch of things. So when we're in there,
on the fly development request here, if we can get those profiles to highlight which one you've actually got selected.
Yeah. Oh, I got to see for just to hide my crap so that you can see this full screen of laptop. Now, also when streaming with Trackside, this is what you should do, Dan. I love to have the taskbar hidden. It actually fits in OBS better, and you'll see why. When you size it, basically, is what I'm saying is it fills more of the screen vertically, irrespective. So when you're putting that in OBS, you can sort of frame it better. So that's one thing I do. And yeah, I get a bit annoyed with it sometimes. I'll turn it off like during, you know, when I'm using the laptop for like work or something. And in Trackside anyway, yeah, number of laps. I don't think I'll cover the detail about setting this all up from scratch. Just more the bits that pertain to the streaming parts will probably be important. So I won't tell you about adding a time or whatever. The capture card may be important, but yeah, you just under video input settings. Look, the real part of this stream setup here, Dan, is the OBS remote control settings. So, this works with OBS at this point here. You've got to have at least version 29 something, because you can add a plugin, but what you're looking for is under the tools menu. There's a thing called WebSockets server settings in here, and this corresponds to this bit here. So the WebSockets basically means that, I think maybe Dan can jump in and explain it better, but it's more about it allows OBS to send, it allows other apps and things, so the Stream Deck and other things can send commands to OBS to tell it to change and turn on, switch scenes or turn on and off filters. So, but the idea is it's going to talk to it over like TCP, and you need to enable it here. So you type a password. I've generated one earlier for this, and you can show connect info. So PDR for life 123. That's a password you want to set there, and then you need to type in the password as well on the other side. So the way you know it works, the ports. This is the default port. They always say yes, turn this on. You can even turn this off entirely, but I would put that on. Just put some trivial password in there, and then when you come in here, you want to enable it. If you're doing this on the same computer that you're running Trackside on, and you're running OBS and Trackside on, then yeah, localhost is the right choice there. But you can even have like another computer on your local network, effectively control OBS. And this is what I did at Nats with the two laptop setup. I had a laptop running Trackside, and the Stream Deck on there could send commands to the streaming laptop to, rotate it through the scenes and do various things. So you could basically control two laptops with, one Stream Deck using this feature here. So PDR full life, 1, 2, 3, and go add. No, we'll go add a scene change. Now at this point, when you click here, it should show you the different triggers that Dan's put in the software. Then I was thinking the other day about other ones that might be useful, depending on how advanced we want to get. But he's given us a great number of about 10 different options here on things to trigger. And I think the idea with Dan is that we want to basically leverage all your different scenes and the number of scenes we're going to have off how many different things, events we can have in Trackside. So, for example, if you click via rounds, we can move it around and show different things versus the replay and stuff like that. That's going to be the main way we're going to drive it entirely through Trackside. I wonder if the microphone's too loud. It's going to do a bit different. I'll just lower it. So pick anything, and if you click in here, it's worked. Yeah, if you can see anything there, it's worked. And when you go into OBS, you'll see that there's a connection that's shown up down here, and it should have this ::1 just to indicate that it's from your own computer. If it comes from another computer, it would show the IP address that it's connected to from there, and it's the number of commands it has, which is just me, clicking around and interacting with it. So what I have here effectively is a blank new scene in OBS. I'll rename it to PDR. And the only scene I made here is the replay one for some reason, but we'll call this race. This is gonna be our race scene, and we'll add Trackside to it and get this going. So the very first thing is probably to start with your racing, because at the very least you're gonna have Trackside in there. And I've done that too fast, obviously. So that's a source, and in here you've got all sorts of things you can add. I think to build a nice scene layout, we're going to use a few text sources for different labels, an image, for the sponsor graphics or the image slideshow, for that sort of thing. We'll use a few different things here, but the one we want is a window capture, which is just capturing any of the things I've got open on the laptop already, any programs. So if I have the browser open, we should show that as well. For some reason, Firefox is not showing there. Doesn't matter. We want to capture FPV Trackside. This tick box you might want to turn off. That just means that you can actually see the cursor when you're in it. I'm going to leave it on for the purpose of this, so you can see where I'm moving. But yeah, if you wanted to just to not have that, I normally don't have that when I'm near doing a normal stream, for example. Now, in Trackside, as you'll see, there's all. I'll shrink it for a bit. So this, as you can see, it represents the size that it is. So you got to run Trackside at full screen, right? They're as big as possible. That's the idea. As you shrink it, it shrinks inside the window. It's representative. So full screen there, and where are we looking? You can see this. When we go to OBS now, here you can see that there's, it's not filling our 1080 view. It's a bit of a black bar down there. The idea is, you just make it a bit bigger. And see, it doesn't still quite fit, and that might be a case of a setting in there. What do I do? Switch back to Trackside. In general settings, there is a welcome screen, 16:9. Maybe it's another. Maybe it's in the profile settings. I can't remember. Align fit. No, I've got that there. Make content 6:9 and crop out the right side buttons. If you don't do that, it changes the way this is laid out. So I think I'm not sure if that's default, but I've always had it that way. Yeah, it doesn't. See, it's moved. You got your clock is out and things like that. So yeah, we definitely want for streaming. I think you always want to go into your profile settings and make sure that you've got this ticked here to make the content 6:9 and crop out the side window so it fits better. It does take a restart. Switching back to OBS, and then to just make it a tiny bit bigger again, just so the width is there. It can be a bit tricky to do this because it sometimes snaps in the way you don't quite like it. So this part is tedious. So once you get it right, you just never touch it again. There we go. Lock that. So we have one race scene with Trackside, and it's good to rename there. And from here, I think we should then. Why has it gone black? There we go. From here, we should establish all the different events that we're going to have. So a good one for, say, start race would be when you click start race, let's go to the race scene. So that's a pretty good scene switch. The other option here is obviously to do a source filter toggle. I won't go into that in this stream. That's what I used to sort of to turn off things or move sizing of things. Maybe we'll use a few of those later, but at the moment I think the easiest way to approach this is just to sort of change between different scenes that you've got different layouts, and that it automatically happens as you go. So we need a few more scenes now. So we have all these different events. So I was going to say, do one for, where's my mouse? Here we go. Rounds tab. And we'll call that rounds. It should just work actually. Even though I haven't created the scene yet, it should accept this just fine. I'll go back and create scenes. Add another scene. So each of the different views, we're going to have rounds. There is a pre-race. There is a post-race. There is a replay. This is just off the top of my head. There is a live view, which may be really the same as race. We'll see if we can make a difference to that. You're going to have a scene for lunch break, Dan, I remember. And then maybe a... oh, that'll do for now. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So... so when you've got trackside, here's the thing: when trackside's minimized, you got to get used to the art of probably tabbing. Where is race? Here it is. Because if I minimize trackside properly, or I click like that, yeah, it goes black. So just a whole tab, so it's always there. So the racing will be effectively trackside. We'll switch back to it quickly now, and I'll just add those scene changes and just get that. We'll demo that's working, and then we'll just start putting in the graphics and stuff. So we want a scene change for the rounds. We want a scene change when you go to do a replay, right? We'll have replay text up there. And that should now show, yeah, the replay scene. And add again, scene change. I think you don't want times up and stuff like that. I'm definitely, you're going to want something for the race end. So when you end a race, go back to something like your rounds. Or post-race actually should be. We'll do that. And we'll make that accordingly. You're going to have a race start cancelled. Yeah, let's do something for that as well. And go back to the rounds view. Because when you hit start race, it'll go back again. So the idea is all these different actions you'll do in trackside will then change between all your OBS scenes. And it'll just seamlessly keep changing the content as you just click around and, run races. I think we had a few more. We had a live tab. I can see one for scoring as well we want to have. Live will be live, but I think that might just end up becoming the same as race. If you click on that, yeah, probably do that. And we haven't got one for the stats is when you go to points and stuff, Dan. So if that's how you're showing your scores, we'll make another empty scene right now just called results. Because these are all blank scenes. All right, cool. Now, any questions at this point, Dan? We've got
no.
We've got one scene with trackside, and then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a bunch of blank scenes with nothing in it. Now, the way I used to make these, I used to just keep piling on the same graphics and make them all individually. But I got to a point where I watched some YouTube videos and I realized that it gets really annoying if I want to, like, say, move the clock or move the graphics around. So I had to make that scene change 6 times. So as an example, I can show you. Here's the scenes I have for my 2023 club one. All the results and stuff. Everything here is all assembled, and every layer is it's out of control. If you ever want to change something or move something around that was on every scene, I had to go through and make that change a lot of times, and it was very repetitive and frustrating. So not to reveal too much, but in the 2024 one that I'll be using that I made the other day, come up, put this into practice, and we'll do this for here, where I've got a bunch of base scenes that just have things in it that are reusable. So like trackside, for example, can just be added And if I move it or tweak it in any way, it's going to be reflected in all of them. And I think the main one though is the little info bar that I've made where it's got like the chat and the clock and stuff, right? So well, let's do something like that, but just create one, because I think that'll be good to create one base scene, and that's what we'll populate first. And the idea is in OBS, you can make a scene, and then you can actually add a scene and have another one in there. So the idea is we make one base scene that decorates your base look. That's not trackside, basically. And you can just add that to each of your other views, and then just add the unique content to that. So that way it'll just be trackside in a different position or something, right? So the base scene. Let's go. We want to add some of your graphics now, right? So this will be your PDR Club logo. And for the sake of simplicity, I've always put all my stuff in in my C drive. I make a stream folder. It means it's really easy to move between computers. If I ever buy a new laptop, for example, I can just like dump this whole folder on another computer. When you import everything, you just know it's going to be in the same place, not some weird nested My Documents folder. This thing is gigs and gigs bigs, but it's also because I keep race replays in there from time to time. And there's a whole bunch of like videos in there. But so in your case, Dan, C stream PDR. I think when I give this to you or anyone else, I might genericize the name also, but like keeping it in the same folder I think will be key. So there's your club graphic. So it's in there. It's huge. We just want to shrink it down. If you don't hold any button right, it's going to shrink it down proportionally, which is what we want. We don't want to make it stretched and all fat boy. To do those sort of things, you can hold like shift, I think. Yeah, does that. And here's the thing, there's no undo. Oh, there is. There wasn't when I was used to it. So now there is. But other things too is when you right click it, you've got this transform menu. And that's really good to get things like graphically aligned. Center vertically, center horizontally. You just know it's dead center without you having to drag and eyeball it. Very useful. So how do you like a top bar, Dan? You reckon a top bar looks good? Like a top menu bar? Or what side?
Yeah, sure. Top bar.
Because I reckon, yeah, we decorate a top bar that kind of looks like trackside, right? Yeah. If we get time, I think at the end we'll try and make a bit of a theme. Do you use an existing theme in there, or have you already made one?
No, I just use the can't remember what it's called. Looks like an 80s video.
Oh, the synth one.
Yeah, synth.
Yeah, I made that one. And here, when you look at these things here, there's a font you can get for it, but don't that font is blocky and not very user friendly. But it's cool to add the font as well. So all right, let's go with the bar at the top. So that up there, I think what's really easy to do and share is basically just putting in. If you can create some sort of block thing, so like top purple bar, right? I think the laziest way is just to leave it at the complete size of your scene, right? The whole thing. So if you want, you can have a complete purple bar. And remember how we noted down and we wrote down before those colors? So this is that purple color we want, right? It's coming into play now. You just select exactly the text and paste it. Yeah, sick. Purple bar. Actually, I'll just rename it. It doesn't have to necessarily be a top purple bar. It can just be a purple bar. Let's add a green one as well. Green bar. Six characters. And add a another color. So I have a gradient option here. That's like an add-in you've got to add, but I think we'll do that as well with the last one, with the blue. That'll look cool. So the gradient color, so there's lots and lots and lots of plugins. There's a few that I'll throw in the folder as well that you want to add, just for like a countdown clock and some trivial things like that. Nothing bad. This is the blue gradient. But one of them is actually a guy that made it so you can actually make a color source as a gradient where you've got the option to choose two colors, white, which is what we'll probably have with this, and then the blue. And then in here there's like a rotate one. So yeah, here we go. Ooh, let's go, yeah, blue at the bottom. So, let's work with the purple first. I should do the blue first. So what you can do now is we can stretch this by holding shift. And we want to keep the club logo to the top. Let's freeze that in place there by locking it. And then we'll put the green bar, we'll just drink that as well. I'm making some on the fly. I haven't given this much thought. There is a free transform in here. Oh, okay. Very good advice here. Look, because even though if you've got something hidden, just lock it if you're not moving it, because it gets really confusing to know which one you're moving. And so in that transform menu, reset puts it back to exactly where it is. So let's just do blue first and move this away. And blue might be good actually to have as an outline there. Just bring that down, turn it on, and the purple. Then we'll keep the green for something else. Let's do the purple. Lock, unlock. And we can always go copy, and I've always, you can do a paste. There's two different options here. The reference is exactly the same. The duplicate means it's a separate object that you can edit differently and fool around with. So you could say, change the color, but the reference means if I change the color or do some other thing to the main unedited copy, it'll and it keeps the same name as well. And maybe we'll come with a different idea to tweak that later, but let's just go with that as a start. Because if we want to edit it right, then you don't have to go and make it the changes a million times. We'll go with that. I added your font as well. So let's say the event title is a good bit of text to have. What was it called? Starts with Alpha. Oh, here it is. Alpha Slab 1. And what do you call what's your racing season called?
It's the spring summer.
Summer season?
Yeah.
You just change this number round. What round is it going to be?
Round 4 or 5.
5. That text is huge. Go into select font. Okay, as well. Okay, that's very big. Not big enough. And I reckon we want some dark text for this one. Black. And if you click down here, well, it looks like kind of cool. It's in right now. Outline, yeah. You can't really see in that bright background, so I thought let's maybe go with that green color. This might not be a color scheme for everyone, but I think if you change the font, change the text, change just the color sources, I reckon it'll come together. And slap your logo there. You just tweak this layout a bit and throw a picture in the background. Okay, so event title. I want to make the tip. Let's make the outline a bit fatter. Can't really see it, right? Looks a bit festive. Maybe it does match the logo. All right. Well, if we come back to think of something way to improve it, I'm never perfectly happy with the layout first time ever myself, but this is a good start. But I feel like perfection is never achieved on the first stroke. Another one will be text. We'll call this the clock. It's always good to have a clock, right? Should be boom, 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 boom. And the clock, there is a script for this. So ho ho ho. Where is it? Time can go here or here. So with the clock, so this is our basic. We're going to be able to add this to all the other ones. This is what we're up to. We've added some graphics. We've set up Trackside with a bunch of scenes for anyone just joining us now. Trackside with a bunch of OBS actions to change scenes. I've just added some text that I'm going to call for a clock, and I'll show you the scripts little menu here. Again, these are something you download. I'll include the ones that I've used. I've already thrown them in this folder. Oh, so that's the Trackside profile. Here's the OBS add-on. These are the scripts we're going to use for a countdown and a clock, basically. So, it's datetime format. So when you get it, when you import it, there's a little menu here about how you want it to look, 24-hour time, that sort of thing. There's also a clock source that actually might work. Oh no, that's ugly. It gives you a Lua clock, so check this one out. That one's already included with yeah, no one's gonna want that, right? Oh, goodbye, Jared.
Yeah.
Hi, J-Web. I'm making a scene, making a stream. No one wants the Lua clock. It's ugly. Remove the clock source. Countdown days is the other one. True. And this one will do the intro countdown for you and switch. And I also added this one. I'm missing the format here. You know what? I'm just going to switch over and grab that from the other one. So what I wanted was the, L, hours, I had to think about this, hours, minutes, seconds, and P for AM, PM for 12-hour time. I'll include that in our text file. Back to the one we're making, Dan, over here. And this should become the clock when I work out how to do that. It should let me just choose from a drop-down menu here, but it might be a case I've just got to reopen OBS again. So let's do that because I have no idea. Oh, and they also, you know what, strangely, OBS actually recommends that you run this in administrator mode. So sometimes I do. I haven't noticed any big deal with not doing it that way. Well, that's disappointing. That did work. I'm not doing something right, obviously. Clock. Maybe that was it. And go to rounds. Okay. That's the 5 minutes. No, that should let me do that. Oh, anyway, we'll come back to that. Still building the base scene. Oh, there we go. Well, that's the countdown. That's the countdown. Very not useful. So the other part that I'm just going to show you that, holding Alt and then dragging it on any of the edges is good for cropping if you want to like shrink your webcam and fit. So now in our base scene, let's go and that'll do for now. We're going to add Dan the webcam. So not window capture. A webcam will fall under the video capture device. I have an Insta360 link, so I can pan, tilt, zoom this one, but I mean, I've got the Logitech one is what I'm using on this other computer now anyway, so we'll just use this. I won't need to animate anything, just leave that. Now, when you add a camera, it's always very useful, right, to choose custom for the resolution, because if you've got 720p or 1080 supported, it's best to just pick one and stick with it, because if it seems to switch between them for any reason, you'll have to resize it in OBS, right, so 1080 is always good. The FPS doesn't matter about what you choose there, but if the resolution is good to sort of fix that, just so you always have it the same way, because if I change this to 720 now, it'll be a quarter the size, and then you'll be having to stretch it out. So go with 1080 if you can handle it. Oh, and the other settings too that I recommend to do after playing around with a bunch is the default, but the video format. My goodness, MJPEG. I think don't ever opt for the H.264. I'm not sure whatever it chooses in that, but the H.264 seems to be quite laggy. Yeah, it's a second or so later after I put my finger in there. MJPEG is instant. Right. And that's basically it. So we have the webcam. We can push that to the bottom. And so now I was resizing before. Just, again, transform, reset. It's back to normal. So if you've got one webcam down, maybe have your pit cam as always the background, right? That's what I've gotten used to doing. Let your pilots be your background entertainment for your viewers. Maybe someone, in the back there is like, soldering away, and you'll capture a good puff of smoke when they short something. So then we'll add your the laptop the other camera. So you have two cameras. Then we'll add another video capture device. Laptop camera. And this will now be, in my case, it's an indicated camera. Hello. And we'll leave that too. And we'll shrink this right down. Now, a lot of things are unlocked now, but look how many things are built up in this base scene already. I've just got a couple of pair of purple bars, a blue gradient. I think I'm not happy about that blue gradient. I'll come back and change that. A clock that I haven't got working. It's now a countdown timer, but we'll come back for that clock. There is an alternative way. I used to use a different app for a clock called Snaz. It's free. I can do it that way. That was actually a lot simpler. I think I changed some script for some reason because I wanted to do it differently, but I'll show you how to use this for the clock, actually. I used this for years. When you install it, it puts a text file, right, as the clock. So you can just copy that. And then in this clock text here, you can just go, hey, mate, read from a file. And then you browse. And then, see how easy that was? Maybe I'll include Snaz. So, yeah, clock. Yeah, I'm going to change that to the green, I think. All right. So this is what I imagine, Dan, is that you'll have your base scene will just be the webcams and things. If you always want to have the pits as the background and have the commentator in small. No, actually, we're going too far with this. I'm thinking this through again now. Adding the webcams is great. We're going to do that, but we don't want that being part of the base scene. We want the base scene just to be your header graphic, right? And that's that way it's all tied, and we add that to everywhere else. We're going to change the webcam around, I reckon, and rearrange them depending on what scene you've got. So I'll just remove. I'll keep them there for now. I'm just going to hide them though. Where's the laptop camera? Hide. So the first one will be your round scene, right? And this is where we start to combine things, and you can kind of get an idea about how this works together. So we've made a scene called the base scene, which is going to be something we're going to add to everything. That way, when we tweak it in the future, it's going to be reflective everywhere. Cool, right? Base scene. Now we want to basically, because race will just be trackside, but rounds, we also want to have trackside shown, right? So again, we go to the window capture, but we have already got trackside as an existing item, so you just select that. And then what we want to do here is sort of shrink it down. So when we want to, let's give an example. Throw some random pilots in here. Bob, Fred, George, and Dave. At a race, where's the populate? Whatever. Probably missing some setup steps that I haven't done. That's fine. So we have a race of 4. And then we're in the rounds view. So what we want, we've got the base scene added. Trackside's on top, but it's completely overwhelming it. So say, damn, yeah, you're making rounds. And I think what you're doing, you don't need to have the whole bit of trackside, right? So you can hold Alt and just shrink this down, right? And let's just let's look closely to get this cutoff right, but you kind of only want to show the rounds you're making, right? So let's just shrink this, shrink that, give a bit of the cool carbon fiber background. If you make a scene with your club logo there, I mean, you can also decorate it that way. And because we know the round sort of works horizontally, you just keep going across. We can sort of make a bit more use of the real estate here, right? So now you've got your rounds that rounds here. We can even shrink this a bit more because you don't need that. And I think how many? Let me go back to trackside. Yeah, that shows all 3 races that you can possibly get. Because it just keeps going like that. So Okay, so now we can add the two webcams. So a little wee webcam of the commentator. And if it doesn't fit right, look, you know you're going to sit in the middle, so I just hold Alt and shrink in each side a little bit equally to get a nice little fit. Yeah, yeah. Maybe even like, you just play around with it a bit. I like trying, if you're going to leave some, black little gap borders, just try and be consistent with it. What's nice in this version of OBS 30, I think, or maybe even a bit earlier, it shows you the number of pixels, how away you are, so you can kind of stick with a consistent 20 on the two sides by looking at it. Is this looking any good to anyone? It comes together at the end. It just comes together.
Yeah, it's looking good.
We want to add the other webcam now, right? The USB webcam. Cool. And again, let's just shrink the sides a bit. You just frame it appropriately. Here's a cool tip. If you know that they're both 1080, right? You can go to this one and go transform copy. I do this all the time. It'll copy the cropping equally. So that way, when you go transform paste. Oh, it's a keyboard shortcut. I should start doing that. Well, I expect it to be the same size. I think it has. No, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. That's terrible. Copy. It certainly works with it when they're a similar thing, but maybe because they're two different webcams. I expect that to shrink them to the same size anyway. I'll just eyeball it a bit. You can get really accurate, right, if you want to go into the edit part there, and you can actually type the whole numbers. Yeah, it depends on your levels of OCD, right? I didn't used to. I get as accurate as like clicking the thing and then single keyboard presses in the direction, right? And one thing we're missing though is a space for your sponsors. And we want to incorporate that actually into, so maybe we'll move the clock, we'll be cheeky. I'll move the clock around somewhere. I know what I'll do. So now, here's an example. We can go back to your base scene. Event title then. So the idea is each race day, you just come in here and go to the properties and just, round 6. Increment that. And just move this down here. And what I'm going to do is fix up. I know what I'm going to do now with this. I'm going to change the outline to white. Give this a similar outline of white. How thick? Yeah, that'll do. And then this gradient, I'm going to ditch this gradient. I'm sorry, gradient. I haven't executed you in a way that I like. But I'll replace it with a green bar. And we can center this. No, I don't want to center that actually. And again, lesson for me to lock things. I just want to move the event title. We want that to be, I need to make room for the sponsor graphics, right? So I think actually it would be wiser, have the sponsor graphics on the left, clock a line there. And the sponsor graphics you gave me down they're of different sizes. What I normally do to be a bit pedantic is I might resize them to be in the same templated size. They just appear, right? But look, let's just YOLO it and see how we go. And then just see if they all fit. You just stare at it for a few seconds, right? So we want to add this one. We want to add this one. And we want to add this one. And of course, let's give you a second plug with this one. Now, they're huge. And it does sort of even it out. So let's say we're going to keep it at the size of roughly the height of that. It's kind of cool. And I think we can just move this across to center a little bit more. I think left line looks cool with that. And you know what, Flair, let's make sure we have the text crossover. Oh, yeah, Snaz does this thing where sometimes it disappears for a second and comes back. If you saw that. No, that looks good, guys. Actually, that looks fine. That looks fine. I like that.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool. So, but now, like, you go back to rounds. Boom, it's there. So, the pre-race, I got to see what circumstances it pops up in, right? And so, what we might do, what can we fill in here? Something in here. There's a black space here that, you know what? Another logo, mate. I guess you don't have to fill everything, but it feels like a gap that we need to address. So where did I add it in? This text logo. Shrink it. How much time are we in? 47 minutes. Oh my, this is not going to be an hour. Oh, maybe it will. Maybe it will. Maybe it'll all just come together the next 5 minutes, and we'll get into Q&A. There's your round scene done. Now your results one. It's very similar just to going back to, because you got your race. This is when you race with Trackside. You hit live. We got your rounds with your clock and your 2 cameras. Pre-race will be, again, adding the base scene. And it should be, again, let's just say we're going to copy Trackside in the same way. So you can actually just copy this, and we should be able to paste it as is. And then you can even just to make this scene different, right? Throw it on the other side. Because pre-race will be, right, I think before you hit start, right? I think it'll be next up. So you'll have that view actually. I think it'll be when you choose the race.
Next up, round 1, race 1, with Bob on R1,
that's live.
Dave on R2, okay. Fred on R7, George on R8.
And you don't want that. I think we want live to be pre-race, really, which is your pilots there, right? How many did you fly at a time, Dan? 4?
You must be 4.
Yeah. So knowing that they're always going to be in that spot too, right?
Yeah.
So rounds is a bigger view. Pre-race will be what we'll check. I'll just fix that now before I forget. Is OBS will be the live. We'll call that the pre-race. And then we can add the cameras again. And if it's easier, just go back to here and copy all this. I think you want to unlock to copy. But yeah, this is what I used to do to try and make a new scene all the time. It got very, very tiring. I guess we'd almost add those as a base scene as well, really. So base scene, this is what I actually got into, top bar. Webcam's on the side. So just paste, just chuck them all. We realize that we can reuse these 3 things in this way. Exactly like this. So let's just copy. I moved it. Copy. Chuck it here. Go, go, go. Delete from here. And then add a new scene, which is that new base scene I just paste them into. So now I can go into pre-race and don't copy and paste 3 things 3 times, just add another base scene. So if you find that you are grouping things together, yeah, create that as a scene and then dump that in. It just becomes way more efficient to add stuff in. And that's really going to be a rinse and repeat of the same. And I think what we do just to differentiate this is just change the trackside around. Just move that in, for example, and center that. I believe this is a QB. Yeah, okay. There are different transitions that you can use. So normally what we've always done is fade, right? And that kind of works. But if you have very consistent items in there, the move one actually looks really cool. So I think it should be able to add it by default. If not, then maybe because I've added a plugin, I'll have a look back later. If someone lets me know if they need it, I'll point them in the right direction. Move. And what it does is it actually moves the different sources around. There are YouTube guides on what this is, but I'll just leave it as default for now. It actually looks quite good, but it'll just sort of flick around. Really slick-like, you know? And so the idea is you make each scene very consistent. So the results will be, I'll just run a fake race for now, just to, I need a dummy timer.
Arm your quads.
So just run a
Starting
race
on the tone in less than 5.
just to get our results going. But we're going to add the same base in again. Just keep stacking the top bar, keep stacking the webcam. Sorry, I'm looking at mind freeze. Webcams to the side. But in the webcams, that's how we just move that over there. Sick. And then when we add trackside this time, we can do it a bit differently and put it over there. I bet you I haven't added the dummy timer correctly.
Whole shot Bob 36.57. Bob lap 1 in first. Dave lap 1 in second. Bob lap 3 in first. Bob finished in first. George lap 3 in second. Dave finished in second. George finished in race over.
Great. So this should now be the post-race view. And if I'm correct, OBS has changed to results. Well, because we haven't toggled that one. So what I want to show now is the results view. Should be the lap records. What are you using for scoring, Dan? Is it points?
Yeah, points.
Okay, cool. And I guess we want to, and looking at this, I guess you just want to crop from this point and just shim the side a bit, bring that up. Yeah. And for completeness, let's say you're going to keep using the synth theme. Yeah. All right, cool. So what I'm thinking is now, if I'm, how are we looking at this correctly? Go to the rounds. It's gone to the rounds view. What actually, to show this probably running as it is now, I need to change the display settings here. So extend. So now you're going to see monitor 2. That's fine. And this is just a demo where we're at. So I can send it to here. Okay. So this is what the stream view would get. So we're at rounds. I have trackside open. So I'll click the race in trackside. Clone.
Next up, round 2, race 1, with Bob on R1, Dave on R2, Fred on R7, George on R8.
So start race, you go to race. When we go to rounds, go to the rounds view. Just confirming all these. And we want to go maybe, when you click results, to show the results view at the end of a race, I guess, right? So pre-race, rounds, and race. So it's flicking between 4 things. And then replay hasn't been built yet, but that's going to be very similar. Let's have a look if this works. Rounds to rounds, post end. Have you done a post race? Haven't done a post race. Doesn't matter. And if you cancel, go back to rounds. Okay, we'll demo that as well. And live is pre-race. Sure. If you click live, when you're switching between the stats. And stats tab is the results. Here we go. Results. And if there's any other one there, is there a points tab? No, it must be the stats tab. Okay, you're seeing black. That's not ideal. So hit rounds, good. Click into a race, yes. The next race is this. We hit start.
Arm your quads.
It goes
starting on the
to
tone in
trackside.
less than 5.
Alright, cool.
Hole shot George 3.45. George lap 1 in first.
Go George.
Fred lap 2 in first. George lap 2 in second. George lap 3 in first.
Hi,
Fred lap
JG.
3 in second.
It's Jared. Everyone,
Fred
it's
finished in
Jared.
first. George finished in second. Bob finished in third.
Great.
Race
Race is
over.
over. It hasn't gone. So, yes, when the race over, we want to go to the post-race tab, right? Which will be, we'll build now. I expect this to be the post one. Or is it the pre one? Pre, post. Pre looks funny because now we've cropped it up. So I want pre to basically be the same. We'll just get copy. Post to be the same. Alt and drag it just to the correct width, which is all the way on the left. And for the post results, yeah, maybe you don't want your cameras at all. You just want that and the top bar. Seam. Top bar. And the transform, yes, center horizontally. So, clone. Another race.
Next up, round 3, race 1, with Bob on R1, Dave on R2, Fred on R7,
So you want to go back
George
to
on
rounds
R8.
now. Yeah, cool. It swipes us in. So when you're going to make new rounds, Dan, it'll show that part as you go to add a race or add a round in clone. When you go to lap records now, which will be the points, yes, it swaps to the stats view. And this is our chance just to sort of tweak the sizing of it. So this will all work if you're using a 1080p res on a laptop, right? Trackside. And then we'll just try and fill the size in a nice way down to the same height. And you can shave a bit more off the bottom. Cool. Does anyone have any questions on any of this? Or is there something that you've seen me do that you're not sure how to do? Any questions from you, Dan? Because you're on the voice chat.
No questions from me. Yeah, it'll look pretty straightforward. I learned a fair bit.
Cool. Okay. Well, then here's the next question. Let's do the replay one. Replay. I have no replays. Let me just. Well, it does. I'm just going to turn off that split screen view because you can't see me working in OBS. Back to duplicate. Okay. In Trackside here, I have the replay button is grayed out. You've got to enable that, which I have not done. I will soon remember where it's done. It's in the video input settings. Yeah, the snap camera, whatever that is.
Arm your quads. Starting on the tone in less than 5. Stand down and disarm.
Yeah,
Race start
cancel a race
cancelled.
then, just go straight back to the view for use. That way you can, if you've ever had to hit stop, you can then, yell at the camera and say, the timer went, or someone's kicked off the battery or something like that. And that way when you start again...
Arm your quads. Starting on the tone in less than 5. Hole shot George 1.46. Dave lap 1 in first.
Now I'm going to do...
Fred lap 2 in first. Dave lap 2 in second. Dave lap 3 in first. Fred lap 3 in second. Dave finished in first. Fred finished in second. George lap 2 in third. Bob lap 3 in third. Race over.
I'm not getting the post-race. Have I done that right? Race end, post-race. Yes, please. And if we cancel, so I know that if it works, if I know the cancel race works, I know that the start race works, I know that the rounds tab works, the replay tab I was trying to save a replay for. Yeah, race end. Should be fine. The easy way to obviously stack this is to just choose another event to send to the same scene. That shouldn't help. So post-race tab should also go to post-race. And do I even have a pre-race in here? Just load it up. Load it up and just test it. Test it at home, play around. If it all gets funky, you know you've gone too far. Fix the timing settings, generate random laps. If you want to test it with the actual fake races, you could actually tick that now. That used to be standard. So now when I click the next race...
Next up, round 4, race 1, with Bob on R1, Dave on R2, Fred on R7, George on R8.
Which should be race, that's right. Okay, so if we go... Oh, no, we're in the pre-race view here. Okay. So pre-race is that. Post-race should be showing the results. Replay. So the base scene. Again, the top bar again. I reckon it's good to show your cameras during the replay because you're going to talk through it. You might pause it. And then what we want is a trackside that is kind of the full screen thing. Just shave off the top, the other side. And then just shrink it to fit. I haven't been very accurate with that sizing. Oh, that was good. Lock that all in. And when we go to trackside, I don't have a replay. Doing something wrong there. Doing something wrong. Maybe because it knows the capture card's not right. Let me plug in a real one. So, the old trusty Ava Media. The 1080p one. Not the smallest. It has served me very well over the years. I'm going to bet that's because I don't have that plugged in. Great. Split 3x3. Great, thank you.
Arm your quads. Starting on the tone in less than 5.
Is the race scene?
Whole shot George 0.96.
Yes, much faster than me right clicking.
George lap 1 in first. Fred lap 1 in second. Dave lap 1 in third. Bob lap 1 in fourth. Dave lap 2 in first. Fred lap 2 in second. George lap 3 in first. Dave lap 3 in second. Fred lap 3 in third. George finished in first. Fred, race over.
Still in the race view. Still in the race view. Okay, so the one part I don't like, Dan, is that it's not actually coming off this from this event here. Hasn't been we didn't click the tabs to the race end. The race ended. We have start race tone, race start cancelled. No, I guess the race was over. So add a round clone. If we do that, what do we get next if we click the record?
Next up, round 5, race 1, with Bob on R1,
So that's fine.
Dave
So
on
basically,
R2,
with the race
Fred
head, it'll
on
just pause there.
R7,
But if you click on the
George
next
on
round,
R8.
it then loads to this. It might be a bug in Trackside, or I might be doing something wrong. But the event of the post race pre-race tab seems to be when you click up here somewhere or something. Dan, it also might be handy to if you want add this as a as an event, because Dan could always include other actions on here, not just scene changes, but not like other triggers effectively. Anything of these would we can use as another mechanism to do something in there. So that could maybe, I don't know, click to be your lunch break, and you click that for your video, for example. Channel this as well. So at least I know when we're clicking points, it's showing the points, which is good. If you go to rounds to make a new round, it's cropping that up and moving to the left. I think this is ready for almost you to play with. The last one we're going to do, Dan, is your and the live is redundant. We don't do the live. The live is race, or the rounds table, whatever it is. The lunch break one. All right, and that's going to be your base scene. I think you just want not the laptop camera, because everyone's going to be walking away, right? You want the USB webcam for that, right? Does anyone fly during lunch, during the lunch break?
Sometimes I guess I need to fix something.
Okay, you don't want to put their video through. You just want to have the background. So,
yeah.
So what you can have, if you want to make it a bit subtle too, is you can add a color source, black shady bar, and then the alpha channel. You make that like 200, and it makes it somewhat transparent. Put that behind the base scene, so people can sort of see background what's going on, but the focus is going to be your little fancy video. And when you install it, everyone should have a VLC video source. Maybe you need to install a VLC video player first. Do it. Video break. Add files. And this is playing out the speaker. You can see here. I just don't think I've got it set to. I'm not sure. Because of the way this laptop's set up with the desktop, but that would play out your speakers. What's we time here? Sending out the other capture card. Never mind. Where should this go? Down, left, or right? Just pick a side.
Probably right, because probably there'll be more people on the left-hand side of the camera.
Yeah, good point. And then we just add some text on top in your same font. Um, 10 minutes. Just change that to whatever you think is suitable. I think I normally put a time back. Outline black so it stands out. Make the thickness 20. Better to make the font the right size. Yeah, 256. That's absolutely mega. Where's it going to look good? Thinking about this. Probably down there. And let's add that colored bar. Let's just add another for a bit of flare, another purple bar, man. And this one's going to go behind the video break. And we're going to just shrink it to make it look like a little border. I think it'll look kind of nice, yeah, like in my little Bob Ross kind of way.
Yeah, that's good.
Where's the text? There's the text. Let's move that around. So then, yeah, you can see the people there. You've got the little video playing there. So then if you want, right, rotate that. If you get another video made, get it made in the same format. And you just swap it out.
Yeah.
Then we're over time by 12 minutes. That's okay. I'm not worried. I think, but someone did complain the last video was like 2 hours, and it was too long. JD, what do you think about PCI capture devices over USB? I'm not going to entertain that, Jared, because I only have laptops. Hey, it probably is. It looks good though. I think. Where is? Hang on, where's this camera? The other thing we want to add is your little synthy background, but I don't think we really need it. Hey, the animated background.
No, I don't think so. I think with everything you've got there.
So what you end up right is 2 base scenes that for just with your cameras in that layout, because you could chuck it on the left or the right, and the top bar. Otherwise, everything else is just assembled with a few little unique things to that, and otherwise everything else is rearranged. So we got lunch break, replay, post race, result view, pre-race, rounds, and race, and it all looks pretty similar, but at least it's shifting around and moving, right? So you got some different layouts. Let's review.
Hey,
Let's.
the only thing we're missing is the YouTube chat.
The what? Sorry.
YouTube chat.
Thank you. Yes, all right. That's got to go in. Where do you want that? I mean, realistically, do you want it in every page, or just maybe the round? Like,
yeah, probably just the rounds.
Just the rounds. Just the rounds. Let me think about this, because I think.
Maybe rounds and lunch break. I'd say actually.
You want the chat you want the chat to be showing up every time, I think, at least in one go. So maybe just give me a few seconds. I'll just switch back to the split screen thing. And we'll just play through a couple of real quick fake rounds and see where it sits the longest, I think, and put it in that one. So all I've done is just change the, oh my god. Oh, this is, yeah, okay. Left and right screen. This is the monitor you're seeing now on the screen, but on the left is the main monitor. I will move OBS actually over here. That'll be good. That'll make more sense. And then I'll drive Trackside over here. So I've made a mess of all these rounds. I'll just clear up a few. Oh, hello, Fred. So let's run this race. We go to
arm your quads.
Hit start. It goes
starting on the tone
right
in
away.
less than 5. Whole shot Dave 1.62. Dave lap 1 in first. George lap 1 in second. Bob lap 1 in third. George lap 2 in first. Dave lap 2 in second. George lap 3 in first. Bob lap 3 in second. Dave lap 3 in third. Bob finished in first.
All right.
George finished in race
Thank
over.
You. Thank you for playing. So it hasn't changed view, right? We're still in the. Oh, my mouse. This is so hard to follow. With this, relative to the 2 computers I'm using. So race, we're still in the race scene here, but it's when we go to clone the round or choose the next race.
Next up, round 6, race
we
1.
Come to the pre-race.
With Bob on
the
R1,
pre-race one.
Dave on R2,
You know
Fred
what?
on R7,
black space
George on R8.
Dan, that's the perfect spot for it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, tripping. So I'm just gonna move. Where do we want it? Where do we want it? Where do we want it? On the left. Yeah. Let's just give it a and just have to turn off that dual screen thing again. I just wanted to see where it was. It's just too hard to look at. It's very confusing to even explain how the computer is set up. But when I move my mouse to the right, I'm watching it on a completely different computer, and it's really a bit weird and lagged, very tricky. So, okay, one screen now. It was the pre-race we established. And trackside is it's minimized. Okay. So, YouTube chat right is a browser source. So in this case, let's just add this chat right. I need to go to Streamception. If you pre-schedule the video down, if you want the actual chat, you just go to the video itself. Oh my god, this is going to trip me out. Here we are. Pop out the chat. And then just get this URL. And then go add. And everything here is a browser source. So also, for reference, the browser source is what I use for like all the heads up now stuff, the race results, everything that I did with like the NAS ones and all the people's pictures and the score results. They're all browser sources. I pull in a Google Sheet. In this case, it's going to be the browser source is going to pull in this URL for the chat, YouTube chat. And you know what? YouTube chat, because it's one of those things you need to update every event, Dan. You want to make sure it's a really obviously labeled one. So you can just see it there in capitals.
Yep.
Paste the URL in. It's worth getting the width and height right, and that's 800 by 600 there in the screen already. We want something skinnier but longer. It's like, I don't know, like 400. The whole height is 1080, right? So probably about 800? 900? No. 850. And you can crop, right? But look, this doesn't look great either on its own. We kind of want to enlarge it. And what also looks, there's a website as well that I've been using. And I found it by the old Googs. They said YouTube CSS, YouTube chat CSS generator. This thing, chat v2.0 style generator. Multi-GPUs as well, I've noticed. I'm not going to fiddle with it here, but you can change all the colors and stuff down, so you can go here and fiddle with all the different fonts, right? But it gives you this code down the bottom, right? Yep. You send up, so as you fiddle with it, it changes the code. You copy this, and then in your YouTube chat thing, you don't have to update this again. You just make this once. Well, I tell you what, after like 4 years, it broke and it stopped working on me, and I had my YouTube chat stopped working. And in the end, it seemed like they changed the website of this code, and I had to go and remake it from scratch. But if in doubt, if your YouTube chat starts doing weird stuff, just delete this custom CSS. But you just paste it in there, and then it cuts out all the nonsense. See, and it makes the font fatter and stuff.
Yeah.
So what I have though is I'm going to make sure this fits, right? And it might make more sense even just to... Oh, is that going to look good? I don't know. The sizing is right, because it's 200, 300, 600. Oh, it looks okay. A bit taller. Let's go 620. Okay, and that looks like it fits kind of neat now. And I'll just spam in there. Hi, Fred. Does it work? Yeah. Bingo. Let's go recap your requirements list, Dan.
Yep.
Obviously, we won't stream the part about you getting it working on your computer, but I mean, you just worked that one out with me one by one later.
Yep.
Probably use the snaz thing, unless I feel use that. That's grab snaz. I'll put that in the folder. Back to that list. Where was it? Went too far. Do you have that list handy?
Uh,
Let me. Let's see now. record from this other computer. I'm not sure where you're going with this, says Fred, but it's not inside a woman. No, mate, no. No, Fred.
What do you just want a link again?
I found it.
There you go.
So yeah, it's all driven through Trackside. How many scenes we end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty good. None of them the views. Switch to loop video on the break. So Dan, that's anything. I think when you want to do the loop video, you click on this lunch break one. I think.
Yep.
Unless the only way I could link it to Trackside would be if you wanted to throw away. If Dan could maybe make the channel list or Patreon or something like that as a throwaway event, throwaway click event, you could just click that and it would just trigger your thing. But as soon as you click back to rounds and choose the next race ride, it's going to come back straight away. So you have to really remember to resume the race. I am going to use that on someone. So yeah, pre-race results, lunch break, 2 base scenes, which is just these graphics. And one even, and I'll remove this, get rid of the gradient. Okay, open up the floor to any questions. Does anyone want to know how any of that stuff was done that didn't make sense? Otherwise, yeah, I'll say that's done. I'll export this. So what I'll do is let's go export, and in the OBS export. Oh. He'll save it as a... Maybe it needs to be a folder. Okay. I don't do this much. The exporting part. Is that right? It doesn't look right. That's not what I remember. Oh, it's my title profile. Scene. Export the scene. PDR. Here we go. Okay. So that's the file I need to give back to you, Dan, and just chuck all your. I'll just give you the whole folder zip, really.
Yeah.
And then you need to add these little files into your OBS that we didn't even use. No, I didn't even use them. I'll just give you the link to Snaz, and that's it.
Beautiful.
Cool, man. And I look forward to seeing it on Sunday.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much.
All right, well, I'm going to call it in a few minutes. If no one has any questions, that we've come back for the peak of 6 people, so I thought there might have been someone with wanting something specific. For all of you who don't understand what this is about, let me break it down for you. Oh, no. Seen more. Good one, Fred. Good one. Good one. All right. We're done. Yeah. You got me twice, Fred. Good night, everyone. Thank you for participating in whatever way. Dan, looking forward to seeing you race. And hopefully, let's see if someone can actually tweak this and template it. I think one thing to play with too, Dan, when you get time, is make a custom theme for Trackside and just whack those colors in there.
Yeah.
I'll send these back to you. Save you looking them up. And you just chuck them. You need the RGB values, but you chuck them into the XML of Trackside, and you can get this really
cool.
Customize that look there. Keep the background or whatever. But you just make the colors match. All right.
I'll try that tomorrow.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone. Good night. Goodbye. And my 2024 race day. This is the first stream back for me for outdoor will be Saturday the 20th. 2024 stream debut. Oh, and we've relegated all our club members into A and B division. We forced them, so that'll be a nice surprise for those when they find out where they are. Andrew Malmberg, I've gone 26 minutes over, and no one's going to sift through that video this long, I think. Maybe another time. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming. I'll see you later. End stream over here.